Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. With Season 5 for the first time in a long time here in Warzone, we ended up getting some brand new settings here. So I wanted to go through and break down just a few of the key settings and of course the new settings that you want to be running in Warzone. Doesn't matter if you're on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, these settings that we're talking about today apply for everything. Of course, there are some, if you're on PC, you're going to have additional tabs with graphics and quality with the FOV and everything. Hopefully that ends up changing in MW2 and Warzone 2, at least it will according to the leaks. But we do have a few things that I want to break down here today, and they're all super important to gameplay. So if you're not using these settings already, definitely try them out and hopefully you'll see a noticeable improvement in your quality of gameplay and just what you're able to do. So the first thing I want to talk about here, actually a brand new setting with Season 5, and that is the default to focus on the first loadout item in drop. Now this is under the interface tab in the HUD, and essentially what this ends up doing is allowing you to use your first initial loadout that you select in the pregame right away. Of course, I think it was back during Season 4, Raven ended up adding in this new update where it reverts your loadout to the very top of the list every single time. So no matter what, if you're starting in the pregame and you select your 8th loadout, when you go into an actual match and you get your loadout drop, it's going to start all the way up at the top. Now, of course, when your loadout starts all the way at the top, that's not a huge deal if you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no action around you and you can take your time selecting your loadouts. But if you're in a hectic situation, if you're in a hot spot on the map and your loadout's in and you're trying to get your go-to loadout immediately that you wanted in the pregame, that wasn't an option. You had to scroll down to loadout number 8 before the Season 5 update. Now though, we got an option for each. If you want your loadout to always start at the top of the selection so that you're on loadout number 1 no matter what you selected in the pregame, no matter what point you're at in a Warzone match, you can enable it, and as you'll see in the description, first loadout in list is focused when opening a loadout drop. However, if you want to have your loadout always default to whatever you previously selected, meaning in the pregame, if you choose loadout number 8 and you want to have it set on loadout number 8, so the second you grab your loadout, you can insta-click and you'll have that specific class, you want to disable this setting. That is a huge one, especially for regaining. When your free loadouts come in and they're surrounded by 4 or 5 others, things can get pretty spicy. Having this on disabled, I think, is absolutely the best way to go. Also, by the way, as we're going through all these settings, if you are new to the channel or if you have not subscribed yet, every day I got you covered with everything going on in COD, so feel free to hit that sub button. We are on the road to 1 million subscribers and I got you covered daily with everything going on. One that I still get questions about all the time is your use and reload behavior. So you got 3 options for this: tap to reload, tap to use, or contextual tap. Now, if you're tapping to reload, you just have to press your reload button once. You'll go ahead and do that, but you have to hold that button, which obviously reload and use are the same buttons on controller here, at least. You have to hold that button to open doors or open chests, etc. If you want tap to use, you have to tap to open a door or open a chest, but you have to hold to reload. Contextual tap is going to allow you to tap to reload or tap to open, and the priority is going to be on use when possible. So if you're near a chest and you tap, you're going to be able to open that right away. But if you're away from a chest and you tap, you're going to be able to reload. This just makes things way easier in general. Contextual tap is absolutely the way to go because it's going to make looting way easier. That's the main thing here, but you're also not going to be caught in the middle of a gunfight having to, you know, hold to reload, and that could cost you a few precious seconds there and cause you to lose a fight if you don't have ammo. Contextual tap's just the most convenient way to quickly engage with everything in the world while also maintaining that quick reloading gunfights. Another one that's not necessarily new but is a huge part of gameplay, the armor plate behavior here. I have this on apply all just because it is so much easier to hit that armor button once when you're low on armor and have it automatically ready to apply everything. That way your hands are back on your keyboard, they're back on your controller, ready to go, rather than having to continuously press the armor button once, get one plate in, press the armor button again. It's just going to leave you a little bit, you know, unready, if you will, if someone's around a corner ready to engage. And you can always cancel the apply animation by YYing out of it or doing the various cancel animations in games. So apply all is just going to make your life easier for those hectic situations. Yet again, you'll notice a lot of these settings are in play to make your gameplay as seamless as possible so that whenever you need to get into a fight, you are ready ASAP. Another big one here, parachute auto deploy. This is set to enabled by default, and what this is going to do is that whenever you hit the limit for parachutes or like the threshold for parachutes to pull, it's automatically going to deploy your chute whether you want to or not when you get to a certain height above the ground. That way it prevents you from splatting and dying to fall damage. I personally have absolutely never died to fall damage ever, but I personally think having this disabled is the way to go because this allows you to open your parachute whenever you want. If you're trying to quick dive dive on a player that you see after a balloon or from even spawn, if you will, or from the gulag, and you're trying to sneak up on them, get as low to the ground as possible so you can engage immediately, and you have this enabled, you're going to pull your parachute 15 meters above them, they're going to get the AO, and you're going to get fried, right? So having this disabled just allows you to be a few meters above the ground and pull your chute rather than being 15-20 meters, and that's slowing you down. Disable just allows for more aggressive gameplay. Then the second new setting that sort of sparked the want to do this video in the first place is our gas mask is toggle only. Yes, finally, with season 5, the last season of Warzone 1, we do have an option to manually toggle our gas mask on or off. Of course, prior to this season's update, the mask went on when the mask wanted to go on. It wouldn't interrupt your parachute falling after a few seasons, but it would still interrupt your gunfights constantly, your rotations. It was just super obnoxious if you were trying to make a zone player ride the edge of the gas late game, maybe in the last zone. It would cost you gunfights and wins constantly. Now though, if you have this set to enabled, as you can see, gas mask is only put on when toggled by the player. And if you want to toggle your mask on or off, you have to go into your little quick menu hotbar, if you will, where you can drop ammo and drop cash and everything. You'll notice the gas mask icon is there if you have a mask, and then from there you have the option to manually toggle it. It'll be set to whatever your keybinds are, your controller layout is. For me, it's square on PlayStation, but you can then at that point manually put your mask on and manually take it off. You can do this before the gas hits you, while you're in the middle of the gas, to make it a longer gas play. Keep in mind though, if you have this setting disabled, the mask is going to come on when the mask wants to come on. So that could be in the middle of your rotation, the middle of your gunfight. Having this as disabled is only going to lead to you getting killed because of the animation more. Having this as a manual toggle with this setting enabled is the best thing you can do for those zone plays and when you are close to the gas. It's a bummer that this took so long for this setting to be added in, but it's huge now that it is finally in the game. And then finally, I do want to mention some quick audio settings. I am always seeing questions about this in my comments or over on my Twitter at WhosImmortal if you don't follow me over there. Primarily when it comes to footstep audio, just, as blatant as I can be, footstep audio is not good in this game. Hopefully it's better in Warzone 2 and MW2, but I do use boost high with my headset. A lot of the audio mixes here are going to be dependent on the headset and whatnot that you use, but I find boost high to be solid. I don't like boost low. It makes everything sound like you're playing from inside of a tin can. It's just not it for me. Boost high works well, but the main thing I want to focus on here is making sure that your dialogue and effects volumes are louder than everything else. That includes cinematic and music. Obviously master is just general audio, but dialogue is important because that's the audio you'll hear when sometimes if you spot a player or when enemies are falling in above you, you'll get that enemy dropping into the AO. You'll get that, so that's super important to be able to hear the dialogue volume clear in a gunfight. And then effects volume is going to be gunfire, footsteps, character audio, anything like that that's going to be important for getting that information on enemies' whereabouts. So you want to make sure you have effects and dialogue volume turned up louder than anything else. Music is completely irrelevant for knowledge in game, and cinematics also is as well. So those are the main two audio things you want to be on the lookout for. So a handful of just super important settings for gameplay now. Really not a ton of settings have changed since my last full settings breakdown, hence why I haven't done one, but with the addition of our two new settings, and then always seeing questions about certain things here, I did want to cover a handful of these for you guys. That said, that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you enjoyed the video or if you found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you are new to the channel or if you have not already subscribed, every single day I got you covered with the latest news, updates, loadouts, tips, everything going on. You'll find it here, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.